And after having our Christmas meal, we'd go out and make snow angels in the snow because we're young and we that don't have anything better to do.
But there is a way to do it. You have to start with yourself.
I did a SWOT analysis for my club, and after having a look at it, I decided that if there is something that can help me lift this club to its glory, it's none other than...
Welcome, everybody, to my table topic session. I am so glad to be here enjoying the time together with everybody here in Imperial College Speakers Club. Every time is the most wonderful time of the year when I'm here with my wonderful friends at Imperial College Speakers. And today I'm going to tell you about the most wonderful time of the year, as Hallmark Channel and Disney would like to have you believe. Of course, that is the Christmas season, December, or perhaps November, even if you really can't exhibit any patience. Today, we are going to delve into the good and the not so good side of the Christmas season in my table topic session. This time of the year encompasses not only Christmas, but many different festive occasions from various cultures. On the Christian side, we have Christmas, of course, the birth of Jesus. We also have the pagan Yule, which marks the solstice and is based off the indigenous spirituality of Northern Europe. We also have the Jewish festival Hanukkah, the miracle of the candles, and many other fun traditions. And let's not forget an interesting African-American tradition known as Kwanzaa, which belongs to African-American culture and is based on a traditional harvest festival from West Africa, if I'm not mistaken. With all these holidays going on, it's no wonder that this time of the year is called the holiday season. Today, I would like to delve into each person's individual experience of the holiday season. We're going to unwrap those gifts of very happy memories, maybe some of our resentments about the Christmas season, and of course, unwrapping the gifts that represent what we love about it. I hope you all are ready to take a more thoughtful take on the Christmas season with me tonight. I'm quickly going to review the rules of table topics, especially for Peter from Peru. Hey, hola, mi amigo, bienvenidos. And Hansel from Costa Rica. Hola, Hansel. Bienvenidos a Londres. Let's give a big welcome to our Latin American friends joining today. They finally got on here, yippee. All right, so the rules of table topics are very simple, but I'm going to go over them for our special guest from South America today. We are in table topics. Table topics is a lot of fun, and it's a great chance to express yourself and share your opinions and thoughts with the group. It's a wonderful training for situations like simply making conversation, as well as talking in interviews. Being able to think on your feet and give intelligent, informative answers with a quick turnaround is a great skill, a real stocking stuffer of public speaking, you might say. In our table topics, how it works is that I will pose a question to the group. What happens next is that a group member who would like to answer raises their hand or unmutes themselves or turns on their video camera and lets me know that they would like to take the question. The volunteer then has 1 to 2 minutes to give their response to the question. And it's a free response. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just expressing yourself. Then after that, I will write down the name of each speaker in the chat. And once we have heard all the speakers, we will vote for them. During this time, our table topics evaluator, the lovely Sobin, will be writing down personalized evaluations and feedbacks for every one of the speakers. And to help make things more lively, I would like to invite everybody to turn their cameras on if they're comfortable doing so we can all see each other and get that lovely feeling like we're talking to a room full of smiling, friendly faces with no masks, which is one of the advantages of meeting online, especially with everybody's least favorite Christmas present from the Grinch, aka the Omicron variant going around Whoville. All right, everybody, so please turn on your cameras and let's get this Christmas party started. I'm going to begin with my first question. So there's so many festive traditions at this time of year. There's going to Christmas markets. There is baking cookies. There's watching favorite movies and listening to Christmas songs, going Christmas caroling as well. So I would like to know, what is your favorite Christmas or holiday season related tradition? So who'd like to take this one? Favorite Christmas or holiday tradition? All right, Adam, go for it.
Well, my favorite Christmas tradition is three things: food, spend time with my friends, family, and go outside, enjoy beautiful views, and with our personal reflections. Basically, I always help to my mom to prepare some food for Christmas. We bake a lot of fantastic food. And then when everyone is coming to our house, we sitting and we enjoy, we have fun, we have good memories. Few years ago, even this year, and we just simple celebrate our Christmas.
Mhm.
Then we're going for a walk. We go for a walk together, and we have fun. If we have snow in my country, which is Poland, we take the sleds and we go to the forest, and we have the fantastic ride together with the kids, cousins, and this is always unforgettable memories. I'll wish to have every single week like this. Christmas is my favorite time, and I can't wait this year soon. Thank you.
Oh, Adam, that was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your Christmas memories with us. Now, I see we have another guest joining us. Welcome. And I'm now, hi, and now I'm going to go on to our next table topics question. So gift giving is an important part of Christmas for many families and also for workplace colleagues. Perhaps you've been part of a Secret Santa organization at your workplace, or perhaps you rack your brains trying to figure out what to buy for your various family members. Now, I just want to say the whole gift giving thing has never really been a thing in my family for whatever reason. And I have to say that for me, it took a bit of adjusting to figure out how to do this whole Secret Santa thing and how that even worked when I was in a workplace where we did that. So I'd like to ask you all, how do you feel about gift giving at the holidays? Do you enjoy the challenge of looking for gifts for the right person, or is it something you just rather leave in the past with other Christmas traditions that don't make sense anymore? Who would like to take this table topic? If nobody volunteers, I'm going to have to pick on somebody. How about Annetta? Would you like to try this one, Annetta? Oh, I don't think your audio is working. Okay, your audio isn't working, I'm afraid. All right, well, then we'll give this to somebody else. Hi, how about our new guest, Maria? Nice to meet you. Maria, have you ever been to a Toastmasters meeting before?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and I'm sorry I'm late. I'm not usually late. I've been to only one before,
Okay.
almost like a year ago now.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd love to give it a go. Is it?
Go for
I
it.
have a time of 3 minutes. Is that right?
No, it's 1 to 2 minutes for table topics. So Maria, thank you so much for stepping up. I just want to make sure you're familiar with what table topics is. So this is, do you like the Christmas tradition of gift giving, or do you dislike it, and why? So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I do like the tradition of gift giving, even though I can appreciate people who find it quite complex or quite inappropriate in the age that we live in of fast fashion and consumerism. But I think, as with everything, we can make gifts be more meaningful by making sure that they're more sustainable, for example, and they directly apply to the person who is receiving them. So, for example, a gift shouldn't mean, for example, buying something from a shop. It could be something different. It could be a letter or a card thanking the person for their contributions during the year, or it could be making a donation to a charity that is close to that person's heart, or it could be something, a craft that someone spent time and skills making. So for these reasons, I think the idea of gift giving is appropriate, and I quite like it. But I agree with you that perhaps in this day and age it can become more meaningful and less consumeristic.
Maria, many thanks for your well-balanced look at Christmas gift giving. We're now going to go on to our third question in the list. Now, this is a good follow-on because we talked about the kind of consumeristic style of the holidays with gift giving and buying of things to show our appreciation and to strengthen social bonds. But we have to remember that Christmas is also a deeply spiritual occasion, and the holiday season in general is a spiritual time for many different faiths. So I would like to know if you feel a spiritual connection with Christmas. Would you like to share your spiritual connection with the Christmas and holiday season? Like, what does this time of year mean to you spiritually? And if you don't follow a specific religion, you can also talk about like what you like to think about and reflect on at this time of year. So do we have any takers for this more thoughtful question?
I would like
Chuka.
to.
Yeah, go for it, Chuka, of course.
About a decade ago, I was an altar server, and I still consider myself to be a very strong, to have a very strong faith in Christianity. However, when I was still more active in the church, which was about a decade ago, I would always be so admire. I was always admire the different celebrations that we would have during periods like Christmas and Easter. However, I always had a very special connection to Christmas in particular, because this was perhaps even bigger than Easter. And it was, as many of you may know, the celebration of the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. This period welcomes essentially a new time for us. It is the rebirth of the new mankind, the people who will be saved by this Messiah, this God. And for people like me and the community of the church, this is a very humbling experience to behold the whole experience of Christmas. And I think that for the whole year, starting from that point of Jesus' birth, there is always this expectation of good things. And I think it all starts from that point. Just like we bear the gifts to him, he is giving us gifts in return. And this manifests throughout the entire year, leading up to the next time we celebrate Christmas.
Many thanks, Chuka, for your thoughtful and spiritual take on the holiday season. That was lovely to hear. Now, let's go on and talk about Christmas seen through the lens of other cultures. Now, we're a very multicultural group here. Many of us grew up in different countries with different traditions. And we have to remember that for those of us who grew up in the Western world, Christmas is not a universal thing. There are still many parts of the world where Christmas is simply kind of a foreign exotic holiday people may have seen in Hollywood movies, but it's not really a big cultural deal for them. So I would like to invite any of the folks in the room tonight who did not grow up with Western style Christmas being part of their calendar. And I would like to ask them, when you moved to a Western country or visited a Western country at Christmas time, what are some things about how Christmas is celebrated in the West that really surprised you? Do we have any takers for this question? Also, it can be if you moved to a new country or visited a country at Christmas time and their traditions were really different from yours. What surprised or shocked you about that? I'm going to pick on one of our guests from another culture here today. Vishal, would you like to give it a go?
Definitely, sure, Kat, yeah.
Yep.
So I haven't, as of now, visited any particular country or so. But if we talk about India, India is a land of multicultural people. So we do celebrate in a lot of festivals, and Christmas, of course, is one of them. So when I was, when I was studying in the school was a Christian school wherein we had a lot of carols coming in. We used to celebrate Christmas with a lot of pomp and show. So we used to celebrate Christmas, and we used to have a week's holiday so as to uh, identify what are the key things that we need to take care of, what are the key festivals we need to take care of, and what are the key things that or the key sweets that we should prepare and celebrate and share it amongst our friends or families. So during those times when we used to celebrate Christmas, like coming from a Hindu family, not aware of how Christmas was celebrated, and then celebrating this particular festival via school, I think it has broadened my horizons. It has broadened my experience as to how a lot of cultural diversity comes into picture, how it hones a person's personality. And of course, it's altogether a different experience from the festivals that my family definitely goes for. So it's all about the new festivals that we work with, the new festivals that we celebrate. When people come together, a lot of new ideas come together, a lot of happiness comes together. And all together, this particular experience of mine in school, while celebrating Christmas and singing carols and playing a role of the messenger in a play, this experience has altogether been a wonderful one.
Vishal, many thanks for sharing your experience. That was a really unexpected response because I did not know that there were schools in India that had these Christian traditions of Christmas worked into their curriculum. So I certainly learned something new today. Now, I'm going to go on and look at, you may say, the darker side of the holiday season, if I can call it that. So the holiday season is always called the most wonderful time of the year, but for some people, it's not a wonderful time. Maybe there are things they really do not look forward to about the holidays. Maybe it's having to meet up with relatives who put a lot of social expectation on them. It could be just feeling kind of disgusted by all the intense consumerism that's going on, or it could be something else. Maybe you're just a bit of a Grinch at heart and it's really not your cup of tea. So I would like to pose this question to the group tonight. If you could change one thing about the holiday season to make it better, what would you change and why? If we don't have any takers, I'm going to pick on Fawaz. Fawaz, would you like to give this one a go?
Cool. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Katia, for the question. I'll be happy to take it. So if I could change one thing about the holiday season, for sure, it would be probably halving the amount of people out going shopping in the sales. One time, a couple of years ago, I think, in fact, the last Boxing Day before COVID, I got dragged by some of my friends to the Boxing Day sales, which are a really big thing in the UK. It's the day after Christmas, and everyone is out shopping or shopping online. And the amount of queues and crowds for every single shop that we went to was completely insane. It was almost impossible to navigate around where we were, which was Oxford Street. And on top of that, we didn't even end up buying much. So all in all, it was a very slow shopping experience. It was a very painful experience trying to buy gifts because my family don't really do Christmas presents, but we do holiday presents. So we just buy presents to give in the new year or during the entire holiday season. And so this entire shopping process was a complete nightmare. And I'm now dreading going shopping during Christmas season because I still have to do a shop for a lot of clothes and a lot of gifts because I just know there's going to be so many people. And on top of that, everyone's now most hated Greek letter, Omicron, is also coming back to bite us. So for that reason, I think this year I will probably be shopping online. But yeah, that is me. I hope some other people can share in this pain. Thank you.
Fawaz, thank you for sharing your very valid criticism of the Christmas season. I think many people around the world feel like the consumerism has just gone a little bit kind of running roughshod over all the other aspects of the holiday season. In your case, literally running roughshod with those vicious, pushy crowds that made it a nightmare being on Oxford Street. I mean, gosh, I think it's stressful enough just at other times of the year. I've never dared venture down there for anything like the Boxing Day sales or Black Friday. Now, to close out our Christmas table topics and holiday table topics on a more upbeat note, I would like to invite everybody to remember what it was like to be a kid at Christmas. For those of you who are not native English speakers, you may or may not have heard the term in American English to be like a kid at Christmas. And in American English, this means a person who's getting really overjoyed and really excited about something. And this comes from that feeling that many of us remember as being kids on Christmas morning, imagining that Santa has been there and has left us this wonderland of gifts and sweets and decorations to wake up to. I gotta say, you're a very lucky person if you got to have this experience when you were growing up. I know I certainly did, and I wish all kids around the world could have a similar experience. So now I would like to open it up and say, would you like to share your favorite childhood memory of the holiday season? And I see Josue, go for it. Tell us, Josue.
Yeah, I really like this question. So for me, growing up, I definitely used to celebrate Christmas with my family. We used to always have a huge Christmas tree every single year. We'd have it up for at least a month and probably a few weeks into January. And I remember being a young child and just being so excited to go to sleep on Christmas Eve because I knew that I would wake up to a lot of presents underneath the Christmas tree that I would be able to open on Christmas morning. And I remember one Christmas in particular when I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? So at that time, Yu-Gi-Oh cards were really, really popular. And I remember opening the present. I remember opening the gifts, and I saw all these Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and so I was so happy. And it must have been a good Christmas because that's the only one that I remember vividly. So that was probably my favorite Christmas. And usually after we open the presents, we'd have like a big meal together as a family, and over the meal we would talk about things that happened during the year, things that are happening in the news, and it was just a really, really joyous time. And those are moments that I cherish quite a lot. Another good thing about Christmas in the UK is that sometimes it actually snows. So as you guys know who are in the UK, it's usually very cold. I feel like this year is, particularly cold, but there have definitely been times where it has snowed on Christmas. And after having our Christmas meal, we'd go out and make snow angels in the snow because we're young and we that don't have anything better to do. But yeah, that's kind of like a bit about some of my favorite moments at Christmas.
Oh my gosh, Josue, that was so heartwarming to hear about your childhood memories of Christmas, especially the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That thing I showed you was actually an old Yu-Gi-Oh t-shirt I have that I still wear sometimes. So I was also a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, more of the anime, not so much the cards. But that is so sweet that you shared those lovely, heartwarming memories. And what a great positive note, as warm and cozy as sitting by a fire, drinking mulled wine. So I'd like to say thank you so much for participating in my holiday season table topics today. And thank you for giving me the chance to be table topics master, because I really wanted to do this role tonight. Thanks for fixing up that misunderstanding we had before the meeting. Now, I would like to invite everybody to vote for their favorite table topic speaker. I have the names of the speakers. I shall read them out. So I think great. We have a poll right here. So please click your favorite speaker's name. Okay, if you'd like to give me a thumbs up when you finished voting, that'd be awesome. All right, lovely. So now I'm going to respectfully ask everybody to vote if you haven't already. And now I'm going to invite, what I should do is I should turn control of the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the evening. Please welcome Chuka back to the stage.
Thank you so much for this very, what's the word? Befitting to the season that we're in. Table topics, I've forgotten the exact words, but yes, thank you. And certainly not only mulled wine, but also logs as we have learned from the word of the day. And of course, thank you for everybody who gave responses. I'm pleased to say that we've got enough votes to move on. Everybody has voted who can, which is great. So we will move on to the table topics evaluator, and that will be Sobe.
Thank you, Chuka, for giving me a chance to evaluate. And first, I would like to say everybody was really nice, and everybody have given a really good response, and I enjoyed listening to them. First one was Adam, who shared his memories about spending his time baking with cookies with his mother and friends. I think he was really good, but then I feel he could have been even clear, and with the hand gestures or something like that, he could have been even more expressive. Next was Maria, and I liked her confidence that she stepped in for volunteer for taking her, and she took a take to speak for that table topic. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I had some connection issue. Okay, for her take, and she was quite clear, confident while giving her answers, and she responded effectively. So I liked the way she took it. I wish she could have explained herself even in a better way. She was kind of rushing towards something like, oh, time will get over or something like that. I don't know, maybe she was thinking that way. So she was just rushing to it. She could have been spoke in a pace, like she could have taken even more time to express herself. That would have been more better. For Vishal, yes, we do have schools. We get to know many celebrations about the festival specifically, which are which we do not celebrate at home at the schools. And thank you for sharing your experience, what you actually experience at your school. So you was quite clear and impressive. So I really like your response. Next is Fawaz. He talked about his painful experience about the gift buying, and I think that is true for everyone, and everyone must have faced it. And I think he could have even I liked his response, but I think you could have even spoke about what we can do best about to solve this problem. So These things he could have taken, but rest, it was a great response. And the last one is Josue. Yeah, same suggestion for the Josue also, that he could be more expressive by using some hand gestures, so showing the excitements of opening that gifts what he used to get, and the Yugi. He could have been shown more expression and be expressive. That's it for the guys. I think this was my evaluation, and thank you so much for such a great response and confidence. Thank you.
My communication style and other styles, Adam.
Write to be understood, speak to be heard, read to grow. These words are Lawrence Clark Power. So, what do you think, guys? Why do you come to Toastmasters Club? Would anyone would like to answer this question? Please raise your hand. Chuka.
To become more confident in any speaking situation.
Right. Something else?
To become more eloquent and articulate.
Perfect. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. President, Mr. Toastmaster, and most welcome guests. Time rise of civilization would not have been possible without the mastery of communication techniques. Without communication skills, the man on this planet would not have been able to initiate technological progress and development. The best example of this is internet, social media, and also mobile applications. But are these modern tools help us to communicate better? There is no doubt that we are on the Zoom meeting right now. We can communicate faster and easier, and we can be anywhere on the join Zoom meeting. From my observation, I have noticed that we have more virtual friends. But some people have even 2,000 on the social media. But we can answer for ourselves. How many are we actually communicate with them in real life? How many can we really talk to get along with? Some people is a pleasure to talk, and others people is difficult to communicate with. But there is a way to do it. You have to start with yourself. You need to start understand your communication style and then understand others. When I was preparing this speech, I realized, or rather ask myself, how do I communicate with others? What is my communication styles? When I fill up Pathways questionnaire, I notice my lack of knowledge about what is my style. That's why I had many miscommunications, misunderstanding with people. So one of my dominant style is social energetic. Some people who are this style, which are sociable, energetic, they are seen as people who are talk more and less listen. Those people, yes, these people know what they want to communicate and they do it well. I am quite this person like that. To communicate and I mean, some people in my club ask me to be Toastmaster of the evening. Sometimes we have social meetings outside Toastmaster. They ask me to be host because they know me. I like stage. I like energy, etc. What I actually regarding myself, I am specific person. What I say is what I feel. I'm also a direct and open person. I always focus on results. Concrete and decided person. Other people perceive me not be and the less in my style dominate analytical style. However, I am careful, conscientious. Quite often these people are seen their interpersonal relationships. Last style is supportive style. This style is calm, serene, and gentle. People who use this style don't like changes. Usually these people are confident, these people usually focus on interpersonal relationships. But what I'm trying to say in conclusion, this style is perfect. Every day we use more or less these styles. Fellow Toastmasters, let's start from ourselves. If we understand our own style, then understand easier others. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Adam, for joining us today and giving your speech and sharing with us this very important, ubiquitous topic about communication styles. This is something that is clearly related to everyone. And so I think that many people would have found parts of your speech quite memorable and relatable to them. I would like to point out right at the beginning of your speech, you held up this little flashcard and it was quite unique. I enjoyed it. That was certainly a very memorable part of your speech. And obviously then leading up to a question, this is another great use of speaking techniques that will help to convey your message better to the audience. I would just mention pedantically that the card, although it was very big, it was actually too big and there were some parts that were cut out. So it was quite jarring when you were trying to say what the text, but then there was the disconnect because we couldn't see some of the writing. However, I commend you for using that prop. Next, I would like to talk about the way that you structured your speech, and I liked how you summarized very succinctly, as Rakesh mentioned, the different styles. And you did this in a creative way that made it, I think, more impactful, more relatable for the audience. And at the same time, by having this quirky way of describing the styles, it allowed you to develop a better rapport with the audience. Perhaps you could have incorporated like humor or something, and that would have increased it more. I thought the transition to each next style that you were talking about was a bit too abrupt. You could have incorporated pauses. I noticed that you were quite timely in terms of your speech, so this is certainly something that you could have done. I enjoyed looking at your face and seeing your very animated facial gestures and how you were very clearly articulating your speech, your spoken content. I did notice that your eye contact, however, was faltering on several occasions. It would, and I noticed you were looking at your notes. So what I would say in summary is to try rehearsing your speech with some friends or on Zoom, so that you can, for example, also test the right distance to show the flashcard, for example, or just give the speech again to try and focus on these points of improvement and to deliver a better speech. The next speaker will be Vishal, and his speech is entitled The Insta Journey.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, okay.
Before April 2021, my home club, the NMIMS Mumbai Toastmasters Club, was a lackluster body with once a quarter meeting, negligible social media presence, and was running short of DCP points. I saw this as an opportunity to use my problem solving and leadership skills to help the club move out of misery. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I nominated myself and got elected as the president of the club by the help of elections. As I took the charge of the president of the club, there lay a plethora of challenges. I did a SWOT analysis for my club, and after having a look at it, I decided that if there is something that can help me lift this club to its glory, it's none other than social media. My club had its presence on a lot of social media handles. You talk about Facebook, you talk about Instagram, you talk about Twitter. We were all there, but with negligible presence, as I said earlier. I got in touch with the newly elected VPPR, Toastmaster Rohan, who was pursuing his MBA along with me in marketing. And we decided to follow a step-by-step approach to revive the social media presence for the club. We analyzed all the 3 platforms and prepared a detailed analysis on which platform should we focus more on. We prioritized Instagram as the first one, Facebook the second, and Twitter the third in the order of focusing more. Since we are a college club, we were focusing more on Instagram as a target audience was roughly within the age group 18 to 30 years. And this age group usually focuses more on Instagram than on Facebook in the current time. We had 8 club members and roughly around 190 odd followers on Instagram when I started my tenure as a part of the executive council. We decided and we ramped the entire Instagram page description with some broad details and added a website's link in the description so that the prospective guests could visit our website to know more about the club. I planned on the strategies to increase the follower base on Instagram and the reach of our page. The very next thing that we did was to analyze how our page is working. We posted relevant content on why Toastmasters is important. We carried out certain studies regarding certain parameters of what things we should look in for while we are posting the content. And we came across some of the parameters which were like the insights that we got about what is the average age group that interacts with our posts. What are the top cities that our audience is from? What is the content reach per post? how many people visit our website on a daily basis, and what day and time is our audience most active on Instagram. And after carefully studying these parameters, we planned our Instagram posts. We focused on highlighting the relevant hashtags, posting our posts at relevant time slots in the evening so as to gather maximum reach for us. And we started interacting with a lot of clubs by liking and commenting on their posts so as to increase, again, the audience reach. Now, post this, we decided to launch a club membership marketing campaign on our social media platform to engage more audience. We posted relevant content again regarding the regular meeting invites and the post meeting photographs so as to make sure that people know that something is happening with this club. Something positive is happening. These efforts of mine brought in results in the form of new members enrolling for the club. It brought in improved and increased reach and increase in the number of followers. As a result of this, we got a total of 50 new club members, and our Instagram followers increased from 190 to 600. That's 3x. We also started getting in requests from other Toastmaster club members so that they could join our club meetings. And not only this, we got invites to conduct joint meetings and also got in the opportunity to compare events as a part of collaboration for other committees of my college. Now, if I take a step back to look at this experience of mine, I believe this experience has been a huge success for me. It is only because of my problem solving and leadership skills that I've been able to help my club in reestablishing its social media presence. This journey of mine, I'm of the view that my MBA learnings of studying the problem, analyzing the solutions, and preparing the strategies have come in handy. This social media experience has been very helpful to me as it has helped me understand the nitties and gritties of the social media platforms and how to target a particular set of audience so as to build and promote a brand. Now, on a last note, I'd like to highlight the fact that this generation of ours depends a lot on digital technology and social media platforms. So why not leverage these social media platforms to build a brand for ourselves, our clubs, and the organizations we work for, as it carries a lot of potential in shaping the overall PR for us. Now, via these social media platforms, we can not only connect with people in our vicinity, but also reach out to people from across the world, like I am reaching out to you from India to London. We can make use of analytics platform to analyze our social media journey and then accordingly target the audience by posting relevant content so as to give more and more exposure to the brand. So Toastmasters, are you getting what I'm trying to say? Or should I plan a social media presence session for you all? Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Hi, everyone. I will be evaluating Vishal's speech. Vishal had an amazing story about how he empowered his club when he was a Toastmasters president. The speech had a really easy to follow narrative structure, I found, and it was really easy to stay engaged because Vishal himself was so engaged with his own speech. He had a really strong introduction by stating very powerfully before March 2020, which I found was immediately sort of put me in the zone and got me ready for what Vishal was about to say. Throughout the speech, he had really good pauses, again, to keep us paying attention, because inserting pauses really makes people listen to what you're saying. He had very good vocab, like he used the word plethora one time, which I thought was great. And he also used the rule of three when he was talking about Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then he went into how exactly he used those three social media platforms for his to empower his club, which I thought was a great use of grammar. Also, on the more on less to do with speaking, Vishal had really good hand gestures throughout the whole thing. He was really easily visible, where you can see his upper body. It was really easy to hear as well. And the whole time, Vishal was making very good eye contact with the audience. In this case, it's the camera, which is really great. So in short, to Vishal, I say keep this up. I'm really looking forward to more speeches because, yeah, this one I really enjoyed listening to. Thank you.
The final speaker will be Rakesh.
Thank you, Anetta. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, what are the odds that two people will be giving the same type of speech? It gives you a chance to really reflect on your communication methods. So, do I have a communication style? That is what the first thing that came to my mind when I had to do this speech project. Because do I? Think of us, we're here in Toastmasters. How many times do you think about what your communication style is? Now, I know Adam has already reflected, and I agree. We meet here every other week, and our aim is to improve incrementally on how we speak. But wait, how many times do we actually think about what that style is? Because none of us will disagree. Adam's style, my style, Chuka's style, they're all unique. And what we're doing is developing a better version of our own style. So the question is, do you know your style? Have you done this speech already? Thinking about this question really made me think. I feel that our communication style is really a reflection of us as a person. And I think that's why until we become expert communicators, we really refine our own style, because it's very difficult, certainly for me, to change who we are. So, in a nutshell, I would say my communication style is understandable. I have had a knack of taking complex problems, breaking them down into simple, understandable units. That's something that I've been complimented for, and it stood me well throughout my entire career. Let me give you an example. Toastmasters itself, this speech project itself, how many times, if I was to ask you, talk about your communication style, what runs through your mind? Nothing. But if I ask you, tell me how you engage with people, how do you connect with people? Much more accessible, isn't it? Similarly, I remember when I first joined Toastmasters, the thought of a humorous speech seemed so abstract. Even the name Toastmasters seems so abstract. But if I ask you, tell me a situation that you really made someone laugh, and tell me about that situation, it's a completely different type of communication, isn't it, than me telling you, tell me a humorous speech. Toastmasters advocates 4 main ways of communicating. Adam summarized them extremely well. There's direct, and this is someone that's competitive, focused, wants to win. That wasn't me. Or at least I like to do well, but not at the expense of other people. Then there's, can anyone remember? Initiating. These are the life and the soul of the party. These are the people that love talking, often told too much, often overstep their timing in Toastmasters. And I thought, is that me? No, that's not me either. I think I am the mix of 2. I am nature versus nurture in my communication style. I naturally am supportive. I love to support other people. I think I have a very gentle and calm way. Plus, I like to break things down and make things accessible and supportive for other people. I think that is naturally, as I said, it reflects who I am, and that is my natural style. Nature. Yes, nature. Then we have nurture. As many of you know, I'm a medic by trade, and the nature of medical communication is very precise. Very precise. The nature of communication is all about accurate communication. And therefore, although my nature may have been supportive, my nurture for many decades now has been analytical, which is the fourth type of communication style. And so my communication style has gradually blended supportive and analytical. And now here I am, a cocktail between the two. I reflect on how this has served me. And I think it has served me very well, because it now gives me the opportunity to reflect on two different communication styles. One came naturally, one was literally forced onto me through years of practice. And I think something for all of us to reflect. How do we become a better speaker? Adam said it very succinctly. You need to know yourself and your own style. But to become the great speaker that we all aspire to be, we not only have to know ourselves, but be able to adapt ourselves to different communication styles for different scenarios. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I put to you the great speakers come from. Those that can fluidly adapt between different communication styles in different scenarios for when it's required and make it seem effortlessly. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm sure we all aspire to, do we not? As Toastmasters, aiming to be the best communicators that we can. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Chuka. Rakesh, it is indeed another honor that I have today to evaluate your speech. So let's get to it. Speaking is not foreign to you. And I'm glad that you shared today about your background. I'm sure you shared it before, but today it caught my attention, maybe because it was relevant to this speech as I saw it as a medic. It also gave me a better insight into how you're able to deliver consistently speeches that break down complex content into accessible pieces. That was one of the points that you shared with us today, being able to communicate your style in a way that I liked about it. What I liked about you sharing it today was that you excel at breaking down complex topics, information into accessible pieces, understandable to the hearer, so that they can take the appropriate action. That is very powerful as a communicator. I like the way that you described your style, the mixture of your style of nature and nurture as a cocktail. Palatable, loved it. These are the things that make an awesome speech a wow speech. You took it to the next level. Your hand gestures, very succinct and intentional, especially the one aiming perfect. You could have said soaring, but I like the way your hand gestures, intentional, and I knew exactly where you were going. And I'm sure the rest of the audience did as well. Your speech was organized. Your opener, always a classic, but it's never the same. That's your style, your delivery style that makes us draw in to what you're about to say. You hit it on the head today for the purpose of the speech, the impact of you doing this PATH project. You shared the impact. You talked about how many of the people in the audience always share about how well you're able to break down complex topics to in an accessible way that people can engage. Body language on point. Over the time that I have been with this club, I have watched your body language continue to improve. It's more intentional and it's approachable. You don't jump at us. You're not all over the place. You are intentional. And again, it draws the listener in. My challenge for you today, slides, because you share so many points about, you shared so many points today about your unique communication style. People would have loved to be able to not just hear it, but be able to take away, because I would have took a screenshot if I had seen that cocktail on a slide. I share that with you because that's the only thing that I could find. What else can this man do? You're amazing. Continue to do so. The end of my evaluation for Kesh.